Matrix Break Free, Understanding the Illusion of Reality. Welcome to a journey of awakening. Have you ever felt like something about the world you experience isn't quite right? What if everything you know, everything you've ever seen, heard or touched is not real? What if reality itself is an illusion, created to deceive you into living a life of compliance and limitation? This is the question posed in The Matrix, the iconic film that challenges our very understanding of reality. In the movie, we are introduced to a world where people live in a simulated reality, unaware that their lives are controlled by an advanced system. The protagonist, Neo, is given a choice: take the blue pill and continue living in a comfortable, fake world, or take the red pill and awaken to the truth about the real world. The concept of the Matrix, however, is not confined to the realm of science fiction. Philosophers, mystics, and spiritual teachers across time have pondered the nature of reality. From simulation theory to ancient Eastern philosophies, the idea that our perception of the world is distorted and that we may be living in a constructed illusion has profound implications for how we live, what we believe, and who we truly are. She is the cycle, the balance, the eternal dance of life and death. Part 1. The Matrix as a metaphor for the mind. In Buddhist philosophy, the world we perceive is often described as Maya, a Sanskrit word meaning illusion. This illusion arises from our attachment to things, people, and outcomes. We live in a world of constant change, but we act as if everything is permanent. Buddha taught that attachment to this illusion causes suffering because we're clinging to things that cannot last. Now think about the Matrix. The characters in the film are trapped in an illusion that appears real, but it's a computer-generated world that feeds on their energy, manipulating their thoughts and actions. The simulation is so convincing that they don't question their surroundings. This can be seen as a metaphor for our own mental prisons, our conditioned minds that trap us in a perception of reality that is shaped by society, our upbringing, and our fears. In the same way that the simulated world in the Matrix feels real to the characters, our experiences are often distorted by the mental filters through which we view the world. Our minds create a matrix of thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, which shapes how we perceive reality. These mental constructs keep us imprisoned in the past, projecting fears and desires onto the future, rather than experiencing the present moment with clarity. Take a moment now to reflect. How often do you feel trapped by your thoughts, your fears, or your attachments? What if the key to breaking free lies in recognizing that the world we see is not reality, but simply a construct of our minds? Part 2. Simulation Theory and the Nature of Reality. Let's take a deeper dive into simulation theory. Imagine that everything you've ever known, the world, the people around you, the experiences you have, could be a simulation. This idea has been proposed by philosophers like Nick Bostrom, who suggested that, due to the advancement of technology, it's possible that an advanced civilization could simulate entire worlds and conscious beings like ourselves. If this is the case, then what we perceive as reality may not be the real world at all. Just as the characters in the Matrix are unaware of the simulation, we too may be unaware that we're living in a simulated environment, designed by a more powerful entity or intelligence. In simulation theory, there's the assumption that if an advanced civilization were to create a simulation, they would simulate conscious beings, us, to experience a reality so real that we wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the simulation and the real world. Our thoughts, experiences, and even the laws of physics might be programmed. But there's another thought-provoking idea within simulation theory. If we are living in a simulation, does that mean we can hack it? Can we, like Neo, break free from the constraints of the simulation and live in a way that transcends its limitations? It's tempting to dismiss simulation theory as far-fetched or speculative, but when you consider the advancements in virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and neural networks, it becomes a much more plausible hypothesis. For instance, the technology we have today is already capable of creating virtual worlds that feel incredibly real. Think of VR games or simulations that mimic the real world. If we continue to advance, could our descendants one day create simulations so advanced that they are indistinguishable from reality? Could we be living in one now? Take a moment to reflect on this. If you were living in a simulation, what would you do differently? Would you feel more free to take risks, to change your life, to explore the unknown? Part 3. The Red Pill Moment. Awakening to the Truth. In The Matrix, Neo's awakening begins with the red pill. It represents a choice, to take the blue pill and remain in ignorance, or take the red pill and face the truth. This moment symbolizes a radical shift in perception, the moment when we decide to wake up from the illusion and confront the true nature of our existence. In spiritual traditions, this red pill moment is often described as the moment of awakening or enlightenment. Buddha's teachings on enlightenment mirror this idea. It's the moment when we see through the veil of illusion, the moment when we let go of the attachments and false beliefs that have kept us trapped in suffering. But waking up is not always easy. The truth can be uncomfortable, even painful. We have been conditioned by society, by our upbringing, and by our own minds to believe that the world is a certain way. To awaken requires us to break free from these constraints and confront the unknown. This awakening also involves recognizing the impermanence of everything. In Buddhist philosophy, one of the core truths is that everything is fleeting. Nothing lasts forever. When we wake up to this reality, we begin to understand that our attachments to things, people, and outcomes only cause suffering because they are impermanent. But how do we start this awakening process? It begins with awareness. Awareness is the first step in breaking free from the matrix, awareness of our thoughts, our emotions, and our attachments. Awareness of the ways we have been conditioned to see the world and ourselves. In meditation, we learn to observe our thoughts without attachment. We learn to see them for what they are, passing phenomena in the mind, rather than identifying with them. This is a crucial step in awakening. Just as Neo begins to see the world around him as malleable and changeable, once he takes the red pill, we too begin to see the world differently when we become more mindful and aware. Part 4. Detachment and breaking free from the matrix. The concept of detachment is central to breaking free from the matrix. In Buddhism, detachment is not about rejecting the world, but about freeing ourselves from the attachment to things, people, and experiences that keep us trapped in suffering. When we detach, we stop clinging to the illusion of permanence and the idea that our happiness depends on external circumstances. In The Matrix, the characters are enslaved by their attachment to the simulated world. They believe the world they see is the only world. But once they awaken, they realize that they have the power to transcend the rules of the simulation. The same is true for us. We are often imprisoned by our attachment to the belief that things must be a certain way, or that our lives are determined by forces beyond our control. In Buddhism, the practice of non-attachment allows us to experience life as it is, without the need for control or manipulation. It's about letting go of the need to constantly grasp at things and instead learning to live in harmony with the flow of life. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means recognizing that we are not our possessions, our status, or our relationships. We are not defined by the roles we play in society or the identities we have constructed. We are, at our core, consciousness itself, an interconnected part of the universe, constantly changing and evolving. Part 5. The role of consciousness in breaking free. Consciousness is key to breaking free from the matrix. In The Matrix, it's Neo's awareness of the simulation that allows him to manipulate the world around him. Similarly, in Buddhism, it is through the cultivation of awareness and mindfulness that we break free from the illusions of the mind. Consciousness shapes our reality. What we perceive as the external world is, in fact, a projection of our internal consciousness. Our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions color how we see the world, and they determine the way we interact with reality. To break free from the matrix, we must first understand the nature of consciousness itself. Meditation and mindfulness practices are tools that allow us to expand our awareness and consciousness. By practicing mindfulness, we can begin to observe our thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. This helps us see the world more clearly, without the distortion of our mental projections. In simulation theory, if we are in a simulation, then our consciousness might be the key to manipulating the simulation itself. Perhaps, just as Neo learns to control the simulation through his awareness, we too can transcend the boundaries of the simulation through heightened consciousness. Part 6. Overcoming fear and resistance. Fear is the biggest obstacle to breaking free from the matrix. Fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of losing our identities. In the matrix, the characters are afraid to awaken because they fear the harsh reality they will face. They are afraid of leaving the comfort of the simulated world, even though it is false. This fear is something we all face when confronting the truth. We are afraid to let go of our attachments, to face the discomfort of change, and to live without the false security of the world we know. Buddha taught that fear arises from ignorance and attachment. When we are attached to a particular outcome or way of life, we are afraid to let go. But when we practice mindfulness and awareness, we begin to see that fear is just another passing thought. It is not who we are, and it does not define us. The Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca also taught that fear is a natural part of life. But they urged us to face our fears, to accept uncertainty, and to recognize that we cannot control everything. Once we stop fearing the unknown, we can embrace it as an opportunity for growth and transformation. Part 7. Embracing the unknown and living authentically. Once we break free from the matrix, we step into the unknown. We are no longer bound by the illusions that have shaped our lives. We can live authentically, guided by our true selves, rather than by societal expectations or the constraints of the simulated world. Living authentically means aligning our thoughts, actions, and intentions with our deepest values. It means letting go of the roles and identities that no longer serve us and embracing the freedom to be who we truly are. This is the path to enlightenment according to Buddhist teachings. Enlightenment is not a destination, but a process of awakening to the truth of our existence and living in alignment with that truth. It is a path of continuous growth, mindfulness, and authenticity. When we break free from the matrix, we are no longer limited by the past or the future. We live fully in the present moment, embracing the unknown with open arms, free from the fear and attachments that once held us back. Conclusion: the path to awakening. Breaking free from the matrix is not easy, but it is the path to true freedom. It requires awareness, detachment, and courage. It requires the willingness to confront the illusions that have shaped our lives and to awaken to the truth of who we are. The journey to awakening is a path of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. It is a journey that requires us to face our fears, let go of attachments, and embrace the unknown. But it is the only path that leads to true freedom. The freedom to live authentically, to experience life as it truly is, and to break free from the illusions that bind us. As you walk this path, remember the words of Buddha. You cannot travel the path until you have become the path itself. The journey of awakening begins within you. Step into the light of freedom and see the world as it truly is.